allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Luther, we care to give the invocation.
Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Deliver us from evil and lead us not into temptation. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. In your Son Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Now, like I mentioned just a little bit ago, let's all be on our best behavior. Who asked? Folks watching what we do this evening. In your packet, you have the agenda for the meeting of August 19th, 2014. Is there a motion to accept the agenda as written?
Motion. Second.
Motion is second. Any changes? Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We'll dive on into new business. Item A, presentation of mosquito control services by Vector. You all have just been handed a packet of information. And we do have a representative from Vector. Would you come up and introduce yourself to council?
Yes, sir. My name is Tim Nelson. I work for Vector Disease Control International, which is a mosquito control company that does total abatement programs across the United States. I've actually been located in Blythe for the last 13 years running the contracts there. Got extended over to Newport, Hickman, Wardell, Haytie, we do them now, and several other contracts. We've been in business, I guess, since 1995. One contract we started in Arkansas, now we stretch all the way from Oregon to Massachusetts. So what we do is a total abatement program where we try to reduce the mosquito population as much as possible. Around here, you know, we have rice and stuff, so we have a predominant species of anopheles that become a real nuisance, you know, later in the summer and stuff. Like right now, some of the rice, the water's being drained off of it, and you get an influx of mosquitoes come off, you know, because they come into town. They come into town regardless, and the winds can bring them in, etc. But what we do, we start out with, you know, we kind of map out the town and find the pools of water, start finding drainage system problems and things that will breed, you know, mosquitoes and things like that, and go from that to setting up certain traps, whether it be New Jersey light traps to CDC traps to gravid traps. The gravid traps usually come into play later in the year, in August and September, when you start finding problems with encephalitis and West Nile, and there's a new one out now called chikungunya. So we test for these, we catch them, we test for them, and see if anything tests positive. We've had some test positive in the past, and of course we try to make sure that we knock that out and find the source of the problem and eliminate that, whether we have to go to the city or what it might be, whether it's a sewage problem, or it could be a number of things from different types of stagnant water. So these traps tell us the amounts of mosquitoes, gives us some information, diseases and things like that. The species change throughout the season. From May, you'll get Syrah, and then you'll get Aedes, just a number of different types of mosquitoes. Then the predominant mosquito, of course, in the most main part of the summer is Anopheles, which is known as a malaria mosquito, which we do not have a problem with malaria, thank goodness. So we start out with larviciding, whether it be briquettes, putting them in catch basins. A lot of people don't realize catch basins, you know, breeds tons of mosquitoes. To culverts that are holding water, you name it, any places that would hold pools of water that would hatch out mosquitoes. The eggs can lay there dormant for at least 9 or 10 years, and then all of a sudden water hit them and they'll hatch out. You know, yeah, just lay there dormant. So totally eradicating the mosquitoes is not a possibility, I'm to be honest with you. You're not going to eradicate them, you can reduce them and make it, you know, everybody's way of living a lot better. You know, we're going to that larviciding. Everybody thinks about mosquito control as spray trucks. That is the very last thing in mosquito control that you want to have to do. You're going to have to, So, you know, you do the larviciding, whether it be liquid, to the briquettes, a number of other things, use Agnique, A-bait and tires and things like that. And you do all this, and then it'll get to the point that you have to break out the trucks and you do some spraying and stuff, and do the track counts, of course, because you have to keep up with the NPDES stuff, which is a law now. You have to have reason, it's not really hard to find reason to spray with mosquito counts here. So, and then of course you're going to spraying with the trucks, and we have GPS monitored trucks and stuff so that we can keep up with. So if somebody says, you know, you're going too fast, or you was sitting there and you didn't move for 15 minutes at someone's, you know, 715 Cedar Street or whatever, then we can look in there. We download them every morning. We look in there, we can actually pick that spot, and we can draw it up, and it tells us how much chemical we used at that point, how long they sat there, etc. So, you know, we can keep up with that. And then, you know, mosquitoes are going to get to where you have times where the weather, or, you know, in the winds, they'll blow them in, whether it be a predominant southwest wind if we get, or we may get, you know, we've had some kind of north winds earlier this year, quite a few, and they'll blow them in on us, you know, so you kind of have to keep up with that and maybe do some bear sprays around outside of town, and it's a battle. So they're going to get blown in, so you're going to have to knock them back, you're going to have to force them. Sometimes you have to bring in aircraft. We automatically bring in the aircraft for the 4th of July prior to the 4th to make everybody, you know, be able to enjoy the 4th a little better. Now, as we go into the season, like as of right now, last week our counts went up, okay, tremendous, because we had some rice fields drain, a few other, you know, and some moisture, of course, in the air, so they come out of where they're hiding in the drainage systems or the greenery, etc. Okay, and we have to bring in the aircraft again and again if necessary. So when the counts get up to an unacceptable point, and I have to bring in the aircraft, I call for the aircraft and, you know, get it in and fly it over the city, knock it back, and we may end up doubling up, tripling up the trucks, different things like that, you know, to get it under, you know, control. But we do have a biologist on hand we have an office in Blythe that we do testing on site. Biologists there, everything, ramp systems, what we test with, etc. I don't know what, the best thing I found, you know, after my spiel here is to answer questions. And does anybody have any questions?
Do you have any idea how other cities have worked around having the funds to pay for this?
Okay, I know Arkansas and Missouri is different. I don't know, I got one town in Missouri that's actually trying to get a grant for it now. And I don't know, I had a city attorney tell me he wasn't real sure if that would work or not, but it's a possibility, so I don't know about that. That's not happened yet. But a lot of them look at it under public health. Some of them put it on tax. In Arkansas, it's a public health deal the way they see it, so they just charge $3 or whatever, $2 or $4 to a water bill and do it that way. You know, and some have a little bit, for most part, most cities don't have it budget put out there. They have to try to get it from their constituents, you know, and so, you know, but mostly, somehow or another, it's used, you know, I don't know, the city attorney or the city councilor would have to figure that out, you know. I don't know everything about it in Missouri. I just know, you know, like Haytime, Wardale, I kind of stay out of their business on that part of it.
Well, I just see on the last page, the good news has the price and all, so
Yeah.
that would be a problem.
The price? Well, it's not set in stone, but that's actually incredible. I didn't realize we had it in there, by the way, but that is like an incredible price. It's not as bad as you think if you go to crunching the numbers and stuff, with the size of this city and stuff, and the street miles and, you know, things like that. It's actually really
It probably is a good price, but the fact that we weren't able to give our employees a raise,
yeah.
we're just gonna have to use creative financing or something.
See, and for the most part, that's the way it always is. Everywhere. Anybody that calls me in, that's what they have to do. They have to figure out how they're gonna do it, you know, where the money's gonna come from, etc. And most of the times it comes from the constituents. So, but, you know, when you explain to the constituents, see, in our program also, you can call me up. And it's actually designated for parties and stuff like that. But if a lady calls me over in this place, you know, and she's got shrubbery all in her backyard and says, we'll go over there and inspect the area and we'll spray for free. No extra charge. It's included into the whole deal. Well, you go to Walmart and buy you a couple cans of spray. Just say the constituents was paying somewhere between $3 and $5 a month through the year. Okay, you go to Walmart and buy you 4 or 5 cans of spray.
You're right.
I mean, and this, what I use, is actually safer for you, and actually works. So, you know, and you know, we got some stuff that's coming out. We won't be able to get our hands on it until next year. I actually got my hand on some sample stuff this year that I'm gonna be able to use for bear sprays, like for ball games. That's another thing when it comes to the ball games and stuff like that. Any type of ball games, activities, we have a big deal go up here on Main Street. All that stuff gets taken care of. Period. I just, you know, try to get with the city office or whatever, make sure I got all this information, okay, and then make sure it's all taken care of. We try to stay on top of that. But these bear sprays, we'll go out and like spray underneath the bleachers and stuff with this stuff, and then people are not sitting in it or whatever, and we'll spray around at the ball fields and it'll help. And then of course we treat it with trucks and stuff. Go by and check on them, things like that. So we try to stay on top of that. You know, try to make sure that that's taken care of. You know, so any other questions? And I have references there, you know, Blywell, you can call them, you can call Haytie, you can call Wardell, it doesn't matter. I mean, Wardell and Haytie is not on there on reference because it's, my boss sent me this or whatever and I didn't get a chance to put it on there, but you can be happy to call the mayor and stuff, be the one of them towns and talk to them. We've been working over there for a couple of years. So.
If we decide to do this, how long does it take you to get a plan together that was good? I mean, if we put this on before the voters and they pass it, for the extra funds.
Well, I mean, ideally, we need to try to do this from January to December because for the most part, I mean, you can do it like you want to, I don't care. But January to December, usually people want to divide the money out through the 12 months. You know, you're only going to be doing mosquito control through the summer, spring and summer. But it's a lot nicer if you divide it out through the 12 months. So, I mean, that's really ultimately y'all's decision. But I would, if that was the case, you know, I would have, you know, if we knew January, then I would have January and February to get trucks bought, machines in them, and get everything in order. So, you know, and I think 4 weeks would be nice to be able to get something together because, and here's the kicker. What happens a lot of times, and I'm not going to promise any of y'all that I'll get rid of all your mosquitoes, but I can promise you this. I can reduce them. Guarantee it. I'm not going to promise you I'm going to get rid of all of them, huh?
Drastically reduce them?
Yeah. Yeah. Now don't get me wrong, they're going to come in droves at times and I'm going to have to battle them back. I can't just come in here and just say, poof, they're gone, and that's just how, I wish I could. Of course, I'd be out of a job for long too. But they're going to come in at times and I'm going to have to battle them back. So your counts are going to go up, and I'm going to have to push them, you know, just kill them and push them back. And, you know, and then we'll keep them that way for a while, and that may happen a time or 2 or 3 or 4. You know, that's just how it is. So you can't, you know, I can't come in here and just tell you I'm going to get completely rid of your mosquitoes.
This price for the first year, is that roughly the price for every year after that, or is the first year?
I'm going to tell you, I work, and this is the honest truth. I am, for you, I haggled that price in half. We've actually been here 10 years ago and gave a price that was twice that. I'm in Missouri now. We've got new owners of the company, and they work with me really well. They're not out to get just filthy rich. Now, you need to realize, you know, this chemical, some of this chemicals cost $400 a gallon. I don't use organophosphates. Malathion, things like that will kill mosquitoes. I do not use it. For one, there's a little bit of a resistance with it. Another, it's too hard for the human body to get rid of, for one thing. It's not good for you. I mean, you know, we got enough of that around. So I use permethrin, resmethrin products, and such. Deltamethrin, you know, so we barrier sprays, we'll do some barrier spraying. Like I said, I got a sample of some stuff. It's actually got some garlic in it, and I've never been a believer of this garlic stuff. It's got garlic, sugar, water, and I don't know what all in it. I've been reading about it, testing it. Well, he gave me the sample of it. I used it on my house, for one, and I'm catching 3,300 mosquitoes a night at my house. It's so unbearable. I'm right in the middle of 100,000 acres of rice. So I put that stuff out. They were gone. Just like it. And of course, you could smell it. They were gone. Well, about 3 days later, we had some moisture come in. This stuff's supposed to, if you put it out 24 hours before rain, it's supposed to keep them away for 4 weeks. Well, it don't quite work that way. But 3 days later, it had some moisture come in. They come in, and they kind of, not near like it was by no means, but they come in, they were there for a little bit around the door. And then after the barometric pressure changed, they were gone again. So I actually got about a week out of this stuff. You know, so I mean, it's got a place. You know, so that's one thing that kind of got me excited. And this, what I was telling you about, we got some trial runs we've been doing in Greenville, Mississippi. I got the bomb for next year. For sure. For sure. It's not on the market. I can't get my hands on it right now.
Just do some quick figure, and just using his figure here, and using the rough estimate of like meters, utility customer meters. Roughly there's 6,000 meters. Works out to be $1.27 per meter per month.
Motion.
So I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you put it in that kind of number, it's not much when you're talking.
I believe that's the least amount I've seen in any one of these.
Now, that's right to the penny, though. I mean, that's not any kind of extra.
It'd probably be
Oh, and
better
what
to
you was
round it
asking, I
off
didn't
or
completely answer
something.
your question a while ago about that price, okay? Now,
I mean, I just didn't know if the first year was more than, you know, the.
no, I try to keep it down. I mean, I'll sit here for the next 5 or 6 years and try to make sure that don't go up.
Right.
And I probably can do that. More than likely, unless we have some kind of drastic economy issue or something. And I hope that's not the case, like the gasoline trying to go another $2 up. That would be something that we'd have to stop and discuss to try to take care of the fuel cost or something like that. Because we're going to have to run, you know, it's going to get to the point, we're going to have a larger side truck that would have to run into town pretty well every other day, if not daily, and take care of ditches. First of all, it'd be here regular to start with to make sure we get everything mapped out right and found. And so you'd be putting liquid larvicide out, the ingots, briquette ingots, these 150 days, 30-day briquette ingots at the last. You have to put these things in proper areas so they don't silt over, and I can just go on and on for hours about all that. But so, you know, from that, you know, you would have to run, you know, I see us having to run 2 trucks in the city of Kennett per night, okay? And it's going to start, every season's a little different. Used to, about the week after the 4th, they start the abundant amount of mosquitoes. That's when they come. Now it's happening a week before, and even 2 weeks before the 4th. So each, you know, seasons kind of change. So we'd have to run trucks or whatever, of course the aircraft then or whatever. And as we get into the season, we run trucks. And then when the mosquito populations come up, like they did last week, then we run the aircraft, and then we double and triple up the trucks and work at it pretty hard, you know. So, and you know, that's what I was going to show you. If you want to pass this around, I got to have this back, or I'll get scolded by the secretary. Please, but I was going to. This is kind of a report that I give each month to the council. So I'd come in, you know, first of all, I'd ask for permission to be able to come each month and give a report and tell you about, you know, service requests I did, whether it was 100 of them or 5 of them or whatever, to how much chemical I used, where the traps are located, that information will be there, where we treated, that information will be there, how much we put in each place, ounces, the gallons, you name it, everything. I give you a report of all that. You know, everything that we do to the T. And also, we do the educational part. I try to find out about all civic groups, any place I can do presentations, whether it's schools or whatever it is, and go in and educate people. For instance, bottle caps, gutters, buckets, tires. I can go on for an hour telling you about the stuff that people just don't realize produce mosquitoes. Gutters on top of the house, there's so many of them probably producing mosquitoes here you wouldn't believe, because they silt. The leaves will gather up there, and then you'll have this mud, and it'll get moist. Well, when it rains, you end up with these little pockets of water, and of course you have mosquitoes hatch out. You know, that can actually produce Culex mosquitoes. The tires can produce Culex mosquitoes. Your buckets can get stagnant, produce that. These Culex mosquitoes can cause stuff to make you feel like you got the flu. You know, it can kill people, you know, if they're in bad health or whatever, but for the most part, you walk around for 2 or 3 weeks thinking you got the flu or touch or something. You know, so we try to keep up with that, and, you know, we've had a few instances in Blythe where we was able to just wipe it out. The city works with me great there. I let them know what was going on, where I had the problem, found the problem, the source, eliminated it. One was a doc, you know, had a 90-year-old woman lived right there buying a child care center on the other side. That wasn't a good situation, so we had, you know. So we try to keep up with that kind of stuff. And any of the constituents, you know, if you get complaints or whatever, and they say, well, you know, they're getting eaten up or whatever, you know, all this stuff, you know, just make sure that it comes back to us, or, you know, call the office so that we have this information and check with them. We'll do the on-site inspection, make sure, because we're more likely we're going to find a problem we didn't know we had there. Might be a vacant swimming pool that's been sitting there for a while that nobody knows about, that's gotten stagnant, that we can actually treat, or you never know. You never know.
Any other questions?
And here's some of my cards too.
Sounds like the council might have its work cut out to get the funding we need to.
You don't call me anytime. I just left some of my cards there. Feel free. You're not ever going to be bothered. Call me and ask me any questions you need to.
I know I personally noticed the difference between here and in Paragould or Jonesboro and Blythe. In all those locations at night past summer.
I mean, I'm catching like in Blythe, the counts come up or whatever, and we get them up there in 300 and 400 and 500, and sometimes they even hit the 700 mark. There's a big difference between that and 3,300. I mean, when you sit out there, when you walk out my back door, I mean, and I treat my place a little bit and everything, but I have to use a trap there, so I'm not able. If I treat it too much, then I can't get an accurate trap count. That's something we'll have to do. Is we'll have to get with some constituents, try to find some constituents here and there to get permission to use a New Jersey light trap for one, and then we can kind of move the gravity traps around. They're battery operated type deals, stuff like that. You know, to keep up. You know, we always usually try to have a fish dinner or something at the end of the year, and these people we hang traps in their yards and stuff, kind of treat them to some good fish and stuff like that, or whatever. Something like that.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming, and we will.
I appreciate you having me.
If you've got any questions or anything, we'll be sure to report over to you.
Yeah, just call me if you need me.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Per meter, $1.27.
Yeah.
All right, item B, it's a rental inspection now. This is placed on the agenda. I spoke with Victor about some other matters, and he brought this to my attention, and since then, Terry and I spoke, and it's more, this, in our zoning and code book, Victor's understanding that all residential inspections are inside zoning and code book. Terry's pretty much,
I don't think so.
yeah, there you go.
But what we have in the zoning ordinance, I think covers any change of use, any new structures, significant altered structures, or change of use like from business to residential. But that requires an occupancy permit. I don't believe it stretches into change of occupancy for on rental properties, and we would really need a new ordinance to provide for occupancy certificates anytime there's a change in rental occupancy. we've been looking at that for off and on for several years.
But Ms. Reiser, I know you've been spearheading the effort there with the landlord association. So whenever y'all get to a point where you
We're not there yet.
ready to make a decision, let us know.
Okay.
Item C is signing of ordinance of rezoning 803 South Jackson from R1 to B2.
Okay, first reading, it's an ordinance rezoning a certain parcel from R1 Single Family Residential to B2 General Business. A part of lots 1, 2, and 3 of Mac Young addition to the city of Kennett, Duncan County, Missouri. This is property located at 803 South Jackson Street. It's been used as a church, and the change is going to be used as a daycare. There's been no objections to the neighbors regarding the rezoning.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Second reading.
An ordinance rezoning a certain parcel from R1 Single Family Residential to B2 General Business, a part of lots 1, 2, and 3 of Mac Young addition to the city of Kennett, Duncan County, Missouri.
Is there a motion?
No motion.
Second. Second. Any discussion? We'll have a roll call vote.
Now, is this the building that the kids' college was in over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really not changing the use very much. It's just because it had been a church and this is a private business. But it does have to be rezoned.
Any other questions? This will be a roll call vote.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The ordinance passes. Go. All right. Item D is readoption of conflict of interest ordinance.
First reading is an ordinance of the city of Kennett, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain officials. This is the conflicts ordinance we pass every year. We're required to pass it every other year, but just to make sure we get it, we always do it annually. And what this does is keeps all of you from filling out numerous forms, setting out any conflicts.
Motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Second reading.
An ordinance of the city of Kennett, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain officials.
Is there a motion? Second. Second. Discussion. Be a roll call vote?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
The ordinance passes. And sign. Okay, item E is signing of AWAS grant paperwork.
It's up there, we just need a motion.
We sign.
Yes. It's to approve a grant for the AWAS project out in the, well, actually to approve consultant supplemental agreement number 2 for construction services for the AWAS project out in the airport. And it's just authorizing the mayor to execute the contracts.
We have a motion?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion passes. It's all been signed. All right, item F is something that we touched on last week, and we came to a resolution. We did have a public safety meeting prior to the council meeting, and as far as John, or Chief's budgeting and paperwork, he's gonna make those changes to reflect money as earmarked for the house demos. That will be back in the budget till we have that money available. So, just want to give everybody an update. Item G, prepaying for fuel purchases ordinance.
Yeah, you all have one in front of you, and this is, except for all the whereases I added, it's pretty much what you were given at the last meeting, and what it would do is require that any business that sells gasoline or diesel fuel to provide for prepayment or pre-approval of the sale before fuel can be pumped.